United States government is the largest purveyor and coordinator of sex trafficking of children in the world. Yes, the United States government, the largest facilitator of child trafficking in the world. It should make all of us sick. And yet, the mainstream media, the corporate media, largely ignores the story almost entirely. And only a handful of independent journalists even cover the story.
Topic that I know that is dirty, and is dirty because it's evil. And you said something that's powerful, and it's true. And I know how it sounds when I'm watching you say it back to me. It makes me go, oh gosh, is the United States government is the largest purveyor in child sex trafficking in modern history. And that's true. And I know when you start talking about women being raped, men murdering each other, all that atrocities, those are horrible. But when you start talking, at least for me, when you start talking about the sexual brutalization, trafficking children across state lines, it's so dirty. It makes people so uneasy and so uncomfortable that nobody wants to talk about it. Look, I was law enforcement of 24 years. I come back from these trips on filming, but this one took me a couple days just to decompress, because what I'm seeing, the enormity, the scale at what our government has created. There's almost 150 to 200 of these child sex trafficking detention facilities in Texas. There's almost 400 across the nation. So there's an infrastructure built. And I'm talking facilities that hold tens of children and facilities that hold thousands of children. Well, when I went into Texas, we went to see three. One was kind of in an industrial area. It probably held tens, if not 100, but they had like 7, 8, 10 vans, white vans. They all used the white vans. But the two that struck me that were just unbelievable. One was in Carrizo Springs, Texas. So if you're driving the Texas border in this desolate town of about, they say 5,000 or less than 5,000, I think they're counting cows and cattle. There's not 5,000 people living. There's one gas station. And if I didn't have someone taking me to Carrizo Springs child detention facility, I would drive right by it. It's a dirt road. You get off the paved road, you go on a dirt road, and you go about a half a mile north, and all of a sudden, there's this giant, it looks like a FEMA camp in one of the Hollywood movies. There's guard shacks, there's razor wire, there's parking lot for 600 cars. I can't tell you the depth of it because I can't get anywhere near it, like drive in to see the depth. I can tell you the width of it. It was shocking. I could not believe it. And it was hidden. No, they hid it in a place where there's no one that can work there. There's no one to employ. They're hiding it. And then I go down I drive 7 hours down to Brownsville to look at, if you think of the largest Walmart you can imagine, it was a super mega Walmart that they bought, Southwest Keys Partners or Program, they changed their name, built or bought. It's about anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 children. Look, this was in plain sight. There was McDonald's, there was a Church's Chicken, there was gas stations. People were just going about life, had no idea that's there. How do they not know that it's not there? Well, because there's a guard shack. You can't drive in without an ID. I got close to the perimeter, which was basically the parking lot of the gas station that doesn't belong to the detention facility. I'm talking about just regular Americana. All of a sudden, there were golf carts with security guards everywhere. And my question immediately, out of nowhere, all of a sudden,
out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're there and they're making sure we don't cross into the parking lot. And my first instinct was, as a law enforcement guy, what the hell are you hiding back there? What's going on behind those closed doors? And I asked one of my guys, and I said, that been in there, I said, explain to me what the hell's going on in there. And he goes, it's just terrible. And I said, okay, well, what's terrible? And he goes, I said, okay, let's break it down. Is there child molestations and rapes going on in these facilities? And he goes on to proceed to tell me yes, but for about 15 to 20 seconds of trying to explain what it is, he finally stops and says, I'm not talking about this. It takes me a long time to get over this, and it's a horrible thought in my brain and my mind. I don't want to talk about it anymore. He told me this. He goes, listen, we had a problem for a while and it's still continuing, because he was explaining to me what it looked like under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump, we didn't have any of this mass children. He said, so it was very structured, very organized, very regulated. Everyone knew where everyone was going, and there was a reason for everything. He said, under Biden, no one knows. It's absolute, utter chaos. And I said, okay, but give me an example. He goes, we were delivering children to the wrong people. They ordered a boy or a Mexican boy, and this one ordered a Nigerian girl. At the end of the day, they don't care. They have a product now they can push out and pimp. You don't want to hear that,
And when people,
it's true.
And when people are watching, they're saying, why would they do this? Well, what people don't understand is you always have to follow the money, right? Did your sources talk to you about the money? I mean, this is a massively profitable, right? Multi-billion-dollar a year industry. The cost of a child for these people, these perverts to use can be upwards of $30,000 or even more, right? They're paying them for this. And as President Trump said in that Fox and Friends interview, most of these children end up dead.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that Fox interview. I had to rewind it twice because at first he kind of said it and was overtalked. Then he said it again. I was like, wait a minute, let me get this, make sure I have this in the context, because when I report on it. So Fox and Friends was giving Donald Trump the numbers, 137, 140,000 unaccompanied alien children last year. This year is at almost 50,000. It's going up. And Donald Trump said, yeah, a lot of them are dead. And then he said it again. He goes, yes, a lot of them are already dead. So I have to assume that man is getting briefed on intelligence and data that I am not privy to. So, but again, so we're talking about child sex trafficking, and then a lot. What is a lot? A lot of them are dead. What in the hell is going on, Clayton? And you're right, the money is exorbitant. So I talk to guys that are involved in child sex trafficking, like the anti side of it, trying to track kids down and stuff. The reason why these kids are so profitable, if I push over a kilo of Coke and I cut it with fentanyl, I sell it one time. Once I digest it, it's over. Well, with children, I can pimp them out 5 to 10 times a day. So my product is earning me money 5 to 10 times a day. Look at what we've become as a nation. This is, Clayton, just so your audience has an idea of the number, 600,000 plus under Joe Biden have been arrested, released. People don't know where they are. I asked my source and several other sources, when you release them, does anybody follow up? Is there any connectability to, like, okay, we gave it to the right person? He said, no. I said, okay, well, under congressional oath, Javier Becerra, Health and Human Services, and the female that runs Office of Refugee Resettlement said under oath, we've lost 85,000. We have no idea. And I said to my source, I believe that number is a lie, 85,000. They lost all of them, haven't they? And he goes, yes, they've lost all of them. That 85,000 is a joke number. How do you lose 600,000 children? That's the city of New Haven. Just disappears. Because
it's intentional, right?
Yes. So the reason why it's the biggest story is because through the echelon of elites, politicians, entertainment, on and on, corporate America, on and on. I said there's a thread that weaves through all of it. And it's the thread of pedophilia. And he said, all of these men that I talked to said, you're absolutely 100% right. That is the thread that is coursing through the United States of America. The world, but mainly in America, we're talking about, is the threat of pedophilia. We live in a society that is brutalizing children, to transgender children permanently, destroying them, mutilating their bodies. You're having drag queen story hours in our libraries. You're having drag queen dancing naked in front of our children. Our children are being inundated with which I believe is perversion. And then you question, is this really true? Child sex trafficking? Like, all of this is happening in our face, but I'm telling you something that's hidden, and you're like, well, I don't really believe that. That's conspiratorial. Really? I think it's connected.
Yeah, I mean, people want to pick on Vladimir Putin all they want, right? He said the United States is being run by outright Satanism, the Satanists that are running Washington, D.C. right now. Is he wrong? I mean, I don't think he's wrong. This is the stuff of Satanism.
Well, I'm talking to people, I'm sure you have too. Children are going missing. Child sex trafficking, organ harvesting, going south from America. There's tens, if not hundreds of thousands of children going missing in America. Why would you not, if you were the most evil people in the world and you wanted not only to traffic in children sexually, but organs, child sacrifice, what is the best way to get those children? Are the ones that are coming across. No one knows where they are. They just have a sheet of paper, like a notepad, pinned to their shirt saying, I need to go to X, Y, and Z. So I find a couple of them on the street in the middle of nowhere, Texas, where I was. They don't exist. That's my ultimate belief. These children do not exist, meaning no one's tracking them. Look, you have children. I have a child. Do you think I'm going to allow him to traverse the United States of America with human smugglers to get to Canada for 3-4 months? Are you insane? I'm not going to let my son. I have to vet the men and women that he goes to their children's houses. I'm not going to give him to a smuggler. So the parents don't care. They're not tracking their kids. We live in a world that is so evil right now. And you got to understand, you're looking at about 500 children a day are coming across the border. 500 a day. That's what we know about. That's just what we arrest or give themselves up to the Border Patrol. This number of 600,000 is easily a million and a half. This problem is so enormous. I believe in a decade, someone of some means and intellect is going to do a deep dive, and they are going to come out with House of Horrors. Look, my source tells me, listen, I go into some of these facilities that are for infants and young children. He goes, I walk in there and it is as far as the eye can see cribs, just baby cribs.
Oh my God.
And he says the noise of them crying and screaming. He said, quote, it's a house of horrors. America, wake up. You know what's also amazing? U.S. congressmen have tried to go into these facilities and they're denied access. Congressman, time out. If I'm a congressman, I'm on the phone with the AG Paxton from Texas, and I'm saying, I need a warrant, and I need the Texas Rangers down here right now. Something is going on that is so grotesque, they won't even let me in. So I want a warrant. There has to be some. I need to go in there as a public emergency. Nothing. Know what they say? Oh, well, we can't go in there. We have the most gutless and complicit politicians on planet Earth. They're all in on it. Look at the pedophilia. Look at Epstein Island. Look at P. Diddy. I mean, they're just screaming at you. We're doing it, and I really don't care what you think. But I'm going. This is evil, and there's no way God, the God that our nation was founded on, is looking down on His beautiful children being brutalized while everyone remains silent, and He's not going to have judgment on us. At the very least, even if you don't believe in God, you have to believe that this is immoral, Clayton, that we can't allow this to happen in America, Clayton. But we are.
No, we are. It's deeply, deeply disturbing. And we're going to be covering this more, and we're going to continue to stay on this story, regardless of what they do to us for covering it. And we think it's an incredibly important story, perhaps the most important story in America. And we will continue to do it. I want all of you watching right now, JJ's new documentary is called Treason. Go to the website, thisistreason.com. You